Okay.
Now it is recording. Yep, go for it.
Welcome, everyone. As a host of this particular session, I welcome all of you. In this session, we have requested Mr. Surya Soni. He is my college mate, and I have requested him personally that to come on this particular session and show off some basics of AI, that how we can actually get our hands dirty on AI and build some tools like websites or even Android apps and different things. What AI can help us build, and he has got a great experience. He's running his own AI consultancy company. So I'm hoping for a great insightful session today, and I welcome again all of you. If you have any question, maybe you can note down during the session. We can discuss at the end of the session, or if you want to interrupt in between, also that is also fine. You can just raise your hand, and then we can discuss your queries. So over to you, Surya.
Yep, thank you, Sumit Bhai, for inviting me to this webinar series. Good evening, all. I'm Surya Soni, coming from Australia, natively from India, Rajasthan, and I've been working into IT space for more than 21 years, particularly in AI space from last 4 years, big data from last 10 to 12 years, and pretty hands-on, as well as I've got lots of architectural and management experience in Australia. That said, I, as I was discussing during offline, like during informal session, that we are a very lucky generation, that we have seen dot-com boom time, we have seen cloud coming in, we have seen iPhones, touch screens coming in. Our generation has also seen now the human like turning point or fundamental change in human life, AI, and everybody is either excited or scared of what AI will and will not do in coming years to humanity. That said, we have all the reasons to be fearful of AI, but at the same time there's no point being fearful, rather thoroughly enjoy, learn and adopt and be ready for future workforce, work culture and future ways of dealing with technology and AI in general. I've started my own AI training program as well. It could be remote or in person if you're in Australia. But one thing I fundamentally ask everyone about large language model. I assume we are very technical audience in this group, so I can go jump directly to technical question. Can anyone share their experience that large language model? I'm not talking about the commercial tools. I'm just asking about any, what's the term, Sumit, by the latest and best large language model? What is the term being used for that?
Yeah, we call it LLM only.
No, there's a term, but
Frontier
yeah, sorry.
frontier models, you want to say?
Frontier model, yes. The take any frontier model, we're talking large language model. Can anyone tell how smart or dumb any frontier large language model is? Do you consider it is smart or dumb? Can anyone from the audience tell? So
I
generally,
hope.
when we
I hope about what is the frontier model. What Surya is talking about. If you don't feel shy to ask what is the frontier model.
so any latest and best, well, latest trained or largest model or largest parameter or biggest training data set models, and they are considered frontier model by all the big companies. The training a large language model is a very multi-million dollar, hundreds of million dollar exercise, and big companies are spending big money to train those latest and best models using the most up-to-date data from the internet to pre-train that best model and put more patterns and techniques to solve day-to-day problems, including programming and multimodal like audio and video generations and interpretation and all. But the key message I want to give there is that any large language model does not have its own permanent memory. The term which I've used in my Indian friends group where I'm training them, the term I've used for large language model is equivalent to a movie called Gajini. So unless you give large language model proper context, it will not remember anything or anything. You say hi to ChatGPT. If I say hi to ChatGPT subscription, it will say, "Hi Surya, how can I help you?" So we may assume that large language model already knows me, which is not the case. So large language model does not know about me. It is a company, intermediate company. In this case, ChatGPT is storing my personal data with them. And even though I'm sending message hi, ChatGPT has chosen to send a right context. Who is sending this message? Hi, this is Surya Soni from Australia doing this and that. He has been talking about these 10 topics in last 10 days or something. It knows anything and everything. So these companies are intermediate companies are caching lots of your personal data and then forwarding it to large language model. Large language model, after receiving the full context, like in Gajini movie, every day he wakes up in the morning and looks at the pictures and turns around the picture, it says my friend or enemy. That's how he remembers. So that's a context he gets every morning, every night. He forgets everything. Same thing with large language models, it will forget anything and everything. And you end up explaining, when you switch from one provider to another, you end up explaining the whole story again. And by the time you try to explain the whole story again, you believe, no, my first tool is better, second company is poor, because second company has not cached enough of your personal and private data, and you feel lost there, like Gajini, and you end up switching back to your first company. So you need to very clearly understand that large language model itself does not know anything, and you need to send the right context. That's just a general background and just a general story I always talk to whoever I'm teaching large language model or AI in general. The problem today I'm going to discuss, let me share my screen. Let me know if you can see my screen in general.
Yeah, Surya, we can see that.
Yeah. So the problem I'm going to talk about is how to ship any AI product or IT products from your spare room. Just a marketing term I use to bring your attention. The key thing what we are discussing tonight is a self-hosted platform that takes software from a vague idea to a running production service safely and get faster with every project. What we have learned so far, I can go full screen. Please interrupt me anytime. You can unmute yourself because I can't see your hand raised. So please interrupt me anytime, unmute and just ask any question. So what AI has done for us already, it can write software, which was software writing was very hard problem. You had to hire engineers and you have to pay big money to them to develop some software like front end or React framework or any such thing was very hard for me. I was very always back end developer and all, and I always dreamed that if I have 5 front-end engineers, or I'll make 20 websites or do this project and that project and all. But that problem is gone now. AI can write code in any language very beautifully. It has learned from entire GitHub, and the quality of code is improving by days, if not months. And like, yeah, it's improving every day. I can have produced so many good code. But what AI has not solved yet, and which is what I was discussing earlier, that you can't run your proof of concept is good. You can run it on your local host is fine. You can run it on some Vercel or some other third party site is fine, but you will end up running your components. There will be security issues. You're running front end or Vercel database on Google free database, and you deploying code from your machine, which As soon you change your machine, you lose all your keys and tokens, and you get into a situation where operationally, even if it's a demo or a proof of concept or a beta version of your solution, it becomes very hard. uh, Now, but we can write a code in plain English, but hosting is still a problem. So that is what many people do today. We have get an idea, you get a working code, you run on a laptop, but you don't know where to go from there into production. And we struggle a lot. We end up asking AI again, where do I deploy this component, where do I deploy my database, where do I keep my authentication layer and all, and you end up with so much fragmented, and your surface area of production environment becomes so fragile that one component breaks, your entire solution goes down, and it's very hard to manage. You have no idea what ports are open on different services. I've seen very close friend of mine, he ended up writing his web hosting with their virtual private servers credential into GitHub. All the shared credentials got stored into, because people don't realize, they think they're talking to chat or AI tool, and they ended up pasting the keys and credentials, and that key gets checked into your GitHub repository and all, and sometimes plain text secrets, untested backups, no rollbacks, no clear path to production. That is the problem statement I'm going to discuss at length. Any questions so far? So code is not the gap anymore, and it is the productionization. So how I'm solving, so I'm solving a three leg problem. So three leg solution to the problem. And the third one is very interesting one. So we can use AI to build our code. We get very professional, top level, top grade code can be generated now, and plain English conversation. And the second one, we need a platform which can operate that code, isolate, release, rollback, backup, restore, secret management, monitoring. All of that is managed by this thing, and we'll discuss that part at length. And the third part is very interesting, and I've amazed myself building that. That when you start building, and that is where I asked early, and I'm repeating to ask, that you have to try so many projects, because what has happened that when you try to build 2 or 3 or 4 projects, you find the common patterns among those 4 projects, that this is a repeated thing. You always need an authentication system with the email verification system. You always need a terms and condition, the legal disclaimer and all. If you put all those common bits as a skill prompt, you can reuse into your next project straight away. Your speed of delivery of future projects significantly reduces with all the industry standard and maturity you have built over the previous projects baked into a skill. And you, to build that skill, you would have spent, for example, million tokens, but next time if you reuse that skill, you will only spend 1,000 tokens instead of million token, because you have saved the outcome of that million token activity you've done in one time. I've made a very sophisticated authentication system, and I've spent a good amount of time there and tokens there. But every next project I do, I just reuse that same skill, and every next project gets a very world-class security system into my solution now, based on this skill capability. This box which I'm building has a capability to store, build new skills and store it there as well. So let's jump into the architecture quickly, and I'll once I finish this 5 or 6 slides, I'll jump into my showcase as well, that what I've done so far. So you get a one physical host, bare metal host. What I'm using is Ryzen 9 CPU, which has got how many, 8 core and 16 threads, 32 GB RAM and 1 terabyte SSD. So that's a very minimal box I've got. Yes, Ankit bhai, I'll come to skill again at length. I'll come to that in detail. So this bare metal machine, and I got it for like around $700 Australian dollar, which is 40,000 rupees, Indian rupees or something. In US dollar, it will be like 350 US dollar or something. So very cheap machine, but very powerful, powerful. I'm so enjoying it so much. What I do, I install as a bare minimum host hypervisor operating system is Proxmox. It's a Linux environment with some web console, some tools for managing your hypervisor, creating virtual machines. Then I create these three virtual machines, dev01, prod01, and llm01. And when I say I build this, I don't have to handcraft them anymore. Everything I just stick in, I put my USB stick into brand new machine. The unattended installer in that USB stick will install the bare metal operating system, then 3 VM template, that there will be template, and will create all these three machines, all the recovery, backup mechanism, all the security, firewall, logging, all those things which a Docker engine, registry, and Cloudflare connector and a reverse proxy, everything baked in, and you work on dev01 machine. How you would work on it, I'll explain what you do. So dev01 machine gets a control panel where you have single window to sign into your AI subscription. In my case, I've used Claude heavily, and uh, you set up your remote session for AI on dev01. You develop on dev01 using just on chat on your desktop application or on your mobile, and that is the most powerful thing. And once in plain English text, when you say when you're ready, the feature is tested and all, you deploy it on prod. You just say deploy it on prod. You don't need to know any operation. You don't need to know how to deploy things, how to Dockerize, how to containerize, how to do reverse proxy for you. Everything is taken care by the skill. Skill is nothing but a prompt, which is pre-baked prompt for telling any project. It's a shared prompt among all the projects. When you use that skill name, that can you deploy it into prod. So deploying to prod is a skill. It's a prompt. How, what steps need to be taken, what script need to be called, what keys to be used. Everything is baked into that script. So those base skills are baked into dev01. When you say deploy to prod, it will deploy. When it's deploying, it will register itself to reverse proxy as well. I'll come to a bit of detail on prod 01 in just a bit. And LLM is just for local, some rudimentary low value task, and by running Olama or something. For serious big ticket AI work, you will still use your external large language model subscription or something. But for rudimentary tasks, you can use your self-hosted. And I heavily use text-to-speech engine running Kokoro or something speech engine I've installed there, and I heavily use that. I'll show you the benefit of that, and it cost me nothing to do text-to-speech translation. When I plug in that USB stick into a brand new machine, within 3 minutes, it will wipe, it will run the hypervisor without single prompt. By the time you reach to the 7 minute point, it says stopwatch. When you reach to the 7 minute timer, 3 VM fleet will be ready with a live control panel. By 13 minutes stopwatch counting, there will be at least 200 checks done to check the quality of the VM and infrastructure and everything, connectivity, well, cross validate everything. So 200 tests are written. I'll share the GitHub repository as well. And VM gets launched within 34 seconds, 10 seconds production rollback, and 200 live assertions. Any questions so far?
Sorry, I have one question. So we are these days we are simply using cloud-based, machines. So when you say bare metal, is it basically hardware dedicated box that you have used?
Yeah, as I explained, I'm using a mini PC with a specification Ryzen 9 processor, 32 GB RAM, and 1 terabyte SSD.
Okay, okay, that's interesting actually.
It is very powerful, and it's so many things to talk about, and it may sound boring, but the beauty is, let me jump straight away to
Maybe we can cover it in the later section.
so
This
this is the GitHub repository PV setup.
Mhm.
It is used proper infrastructure as a code, configuration as a code to generate the complete ISO out of it, basically. So nothing is like pre-built. You will auto install ISO, and also it will has got complete set of scripts to build brand new image
Mhm.
based on your configuration. Once you have, if you have got 10 mini PC at home, you want to create your own cloud, literal cloud at home,
Mhm.
you can use that once USB in 3 minutes. So all your every individual machine will be ready. If you plug in 10 USB, your entire cloud will be ready in 3 minutes, basically.
Interesting.
So
Yeah.
this is the articulate story skill I've baked in as an example. And what it does is, when you ask AI in a very vague requirement, can you make this feature into my application? It will do reading between the lines, and it will extrapolate your vague requirement into a very well articulated user story as a best software engineering process baked in. It will rewrite your entire vague requirement into feature name, request, story. As a user, I want this capability to benefit this. What are the acceptance criteria? It will write unit test for you. It will write UI test for you. What is out of scope, and all those assertions, measures, and live probe documented. Once it validates, verifies that I've built this, I've tested this, and I verified this,
Mhm.
everything will be logged back into that story file, into Markdown file, into your GitHub repository. So even though you, as a non-IT person or as a less end-to-end person, you will write your vague requirement, it will transform all those vague requirement into a very well articulated user story, as if a business analyst has written that requirement for you. I'll
Awesome.
give you all those examples. For example, does this repository have got docs? Yeah.
So basically, you are running your LLM on this bare metal machine, and all the deployments also you are actually doing it on the VM hosted on that machine.
So I'm using my external subscription for doing actual work.
That is for the LLM, but you are running it locally.
Correct.
Okay.
So I'll just show you.
Sorry, guys, I have slightly distracted.
No, no, that's okay. And that is where I was going anyways. And this is my machine running into my home network. This is my bare metal summary of this is like 16 CPU, which is actually 16 threads, 8 CPU and 16 threads, 32 GB RAM. It's keeping 4 GB for itself. So it's not showing 32 GB, and it's got 1 TB hard disk as well. It has created 3 virtual machine. This is where I do my development, and I don't need to log in into this machine at all. I'm just showing it for sake of showing to you guys. What
Mhm.
it does, it creates one remote session, my Claude remote session called dev01. I'll just jump straight away to this one. So this is my dev01 remote session. Even though I'm running it on my local laptop as a remote session, it is actually executing inside my dev01 VM on my home lab. This is a remote control session.
Mhm.
Here I'll just type in, can you create in brand new project? For example, I was showcasing to my friend Rama,
Mhm.
create new project called Rama Telco, where I will want to create a TM forum and all telco related learning program documentation. That's a plain English statement I made. This request went all the way to my dev01.
Mhm.
It extrapolated my requirement, wrote a complete makefile, readme, and kickoff,
Yep.
and And it also, after doing all this preliminary thing, it created a remote session, Rama Telco. So Rama Telco has been created remote session. Then it also created seed prompt for me for that new session where I can type that message. You are a worker session for Rama Telco projects, Rama Telco. Read kickoff.md first, then requirements.md and curriculum.md. The project is self-paced learning program taking someone new to telecom from zero to fluent in TM Forums framework. So look at this. So I just have to copy and paste it into my another chat. So this is also remote session.
Yeah. And this is what you were referring as a skill.
No, the skill is one of the skill is to create a project. For example, creating a Claude.rc Rama Telco. I'll show you all my skills.
Sure. Yeah.
It is literally has got instruction. When I make a vague requirement like this, create a new project. As soon as a new project,
Mhm.
it will pick up the prompt from project creation skill. It precisely know what I expect from that skill. I've trained that skill. I'll show you the content of that skill to extrapolate the requirement, capture some initial preliminary question. It did ask me preliminary questions on the subject because I put what I'm interested in. It will write a kickoff.md to put together all those initial what it believes is need to be done, but it need to be verified in a dedicated session. So it's like giving some preliminary heads up that, oh, you're going to create this one, you're not going blind. It gives some preliminary handover from this dev 01 session to the dedicated project specific session there.
I see. Okay.
And writing those file summary and all, and writing a prompt for a new session. That's what I trained that skill as well. So I don't need to ask it again, can you give me some instruction, what should I start talking to that new chat conversation there. So see, it has got, I've got a access to compass skill. I've created my own compass skill which will extrapolate your vague requirement into very
Structured. Okay.
elaborated. So it has put start the invoking the compass skill and extrapolate my kickoff.md and all, and then write a feature one, and then let me review it. If it's all good, then continue with the rest of the part one. That's what it does.
You have also mentioned like around 700 AUD is the overall investment on
For
your
this box,
infrastructure. Okay.
for this box, yes.
Yeah. That
If
is
you
one time basically if we compare it with any
correct for
cloud-based thing.
32 GB RAM,
Yeah.
for 32 GB RAM, this is the device I got. Somewhere around $700 is what the price is. So this is what the device sitting at my home.
Oh, is
It's
it so
it's how
compact?
small you can hold it in a hand. I'm not promoting. I'm not getting any referral here, but I'm definitely promoting Ankit's company Amazon here.
No. I even don't know this product exists.
So it's so powerful. It's cheaper than buying a bare 32 GB RAM. If you go into market, ask for 32 GB RAM with DDR5, it's going to cost exactly $700. You're getting the entire PC, mini
Yeah.
PC with a Windows 11 Pro license. I have to wipe it off. I don't need Windows 11. I run Linux there. Dual RJ45 LAN port there and all.
Mm.
And it's so powerful. So if you know how, if you want to buy 32 GB RAM, or even for that matter 12 GB RAM and 4 CPU virtual machine externally, it will easily cost you more than $50 a month.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so you're recovering this cost in like less than a year or so.
Basically, the main challenge we faced was running these, open source LLMs on the laptop. It was very challenging.
I'm not running open source. I'm running it, but not for sake of real development. I'm just using it for text to speech or something for now.
Okay.
But that's an idea.
Yeah.
And on prod 01, what I'm doing, instead of putting my entire box on internet, even though it's connected to internet, but nobody can access this physical machine directly from internet at all. There's no IP address they can reach from internet on this machine.
Awesome. Yeah.
What
Thank
I'm doing is I'm running a tunnel from prod 01 into Cloudflare. If anybody is aware of Cloudflare, I'm running a tunnel on Cloudflare. So I'm opening the door from inside to Cloudflare, and Cloudflare is receiving all the traffic back to my system. So if I go into my tunnel, all this subdomain or main domain ticker lab
Yep.
will go to that machine, that tunnel endpoint. And tunnel endpoint is opened from within my system to Cloudflare. So only Cloudflare can send traffic through that tunnel to my machine. Nobody else can connect to my physical machine directly from the internet at all.
Yeah. Lovely.
So for example, I pointed ticker lab. So if I've got this many 14 subdomain or domain coming to one port, what I've done is I'm running a caddy reverse proxy on prod 01. Caddy reverse proxy will connect to the individual containers, Docker containers for each application. So I'm running those 14 containers in prod 01. Each of them is serving one subdomain or domain. For example, I built this Australian stock exchange as well as US stock exchange website. If you go to tickerlab.com.au or us.tickerlab.com.au, you are actually connecting to my physical box running in my home, but through Cloudflare. And you can do all the fundamental analysis about any of the company, for example, Newmont Corporation. All this data I'm running time series database to run this speed. Like you can see the speed, how fast it is refreshing. You may say that I'm running in my home internet, this browser as well as my application, but it's going all the way to Cloudflare and coming back to my machine. So the traffic is still going as if it will go for you as well. And it's very powerful. This time series database where I'm storing, like if you are keen on my data, how big the data is. Data quality. Let's look into data quality. No. What else should we look at? Analytics. Should show some millions of rows. This is just basic analytics and all. Sign in, MCP, overview. Yep, here it is. Size rows. Somewhere it had. So it is running all that on that machine. And the beautiful thing I want to show is this text to speech engine. It will go to internet, AI, find daily briefing, get the latest news of the stock exchange and the world news and all. It will create a transcript for me and use that transcript to be converted through text to speech engine I'm running on this machine, LLM01, and stream it from here. So let me know if your audio is clear.
Good evening and welcome to your Ticker Lab Market briefing for Saturday, the 22nd of August. As Warren Buffett once put it, risk comes from not knowing what you're doing. It's a line worth keeping in mind after today's session. The ASX finished virtually flat, slipping just 0.1%, though breadth was mildly positive. 595 stocks advanced against 542 declines. Beneath that quiet headline, however, some sharp individual moves.
Can you see that? So that's the beauty of being, you just talk plain English there, what you want to achieve, and it will do work for you. I've just asked what is the progress of processing data or some, just plain English. I'm not even looking at the code, and it is generating and doing a lot of tons of work for me. And because it is a remote session, the beauty is I can access exactly same thing on my phone. So when I'm in the train or something, if any idea comes into my mind that, oh, I need to add new one feature into Ticker Lab or something, all I have to do is go to that Ticker Lab chat session. So I keep my dedicated sessions open for each project I'm working on, and I'll just say do this or do that, and it will write unit test for me. Just there was some statistics I saw that how many thousands of unit tests it has written for me for that application. So I would have just added something here. Let me check. So something was down, and I just said, can you just cross check why it is down? And yeah, it was very interesting. It was getting some, yeah, stock exchange announcements, and it was fetching every single one instead of, yeah. So this is how easy. I'm just talking plain English here. I'm not even looking at code and everything, but my every single code is going into my GitHub from dev01, and they're all my private repositories, not public. Census data, Ticker Lab, for example. And I want to show you the documentation part, that compass stories. Every single feature it has built, it has written a complete comprehensive document requirement for me, and it has maintained the status done, verified, depends on none. So story, email verification backend. I would have just written, can you just use recent to write an email verification? And it has extrapolated my vague requirement into this goal, the data layer plus email plumbing for signed up email verification, 6-digit code, magic link token, hashed, recent email sending. So email sending has become my skill now. Every new project I just said use resend skill to deploy the scope. Touch only these files. Acceptance check, do this, do that. So it will not touch any other file accidentally. It will not. Prod environment, where do we keep the keys for our send, or sorry, resend API key, where we are keeping it and all, what mode of the file is and all. It's just keeping everything for me. So I would not have written this very detailed, explicit requirement. I just said do a email verification, but because I've got a skill, compass skill baked in, I'll show you that skill as well. It's committed into this repository as well, I believe, or not. I've removed it, I believe, from here. Yeah, because it was duplicated and all. So that skill purely talks about that, how to extrapolate the wake requirement and all. And it has maintained everything's, particularly this cloud.md is my memory. Remember I spoke about Gajni thing, and I've been bitten by that problem many times. When your session goes offline and all, when you come back and ask to do some new feature, whatever you have taught that large language model or this project or the cloud, for example, that do particular problem this way or that way, it will forget, and it will end up repeating same mistake again. What I've given a first, what this is the first instruction I give. Whatever lessons learned, whatever mistakes you're making, always ensure you keep my cloud.md, or for that matter agents.md, up to date with all the lessons learned. When a story is required, and the threshold, if anything require multi-session, high blast radius, it will use that this skill, compass skill, to solve this problem. So it's spoken about this compass skill as a very first thing. Loop is to plan, build, verify, and close. So unless it verifies end to end using Playwright as a headless browser, it will not stop. It will do all the verification by itself before even asking me to go and test. It will do all the validation, green checkbox itself, and then it will close the ticket. Artifacts, where to keep things. and non-negotiable. Plan mode is sacred, no edit leaks out of it. Never invent scope inside a build. Verify before done. Slice for reviewability. A story user can review in one sitting. So those are my clear instruction. Every time I open a brand new session on this project, it will read this memory and it will ensure it doesn't repeat the same mistake again. Similar, some more detailing here, what tools to use, what repo layout should look like running. So I haven't written by hand this thing at all. All I give: maintain agents.md, cloud.md, what is my architecture, what things need to take care, what are the problems. So it records any workaround to hard problems it has found. Failure is loud, and it recorded with a date and time, and it ensured how to avoid this problem in future and all. There was a very interesting problem. If I lock my phone screen, that audio what I just played will stop running, but I solved that problem by this instruction to ensure that it doesn't stop. I'm working on MCP server and all. What database migration, slug naming convention, front end convention, everything is there. Any questions so far? I've got one more thing to show before I wrap up. Any questions so far?
Surya, one question like here, which will be preferred, like agent.md or cloud.md?
Yeah, this was my first comprehensive project. So I started with cloud.md, but ended up writing and wrapping up everything in agents.md for all my future projects. So agents.md is more agnostic to any AI tool you use. Claude started off with cloud.md as its preferred file, but you can put everything in agents.md.
But when you're
That's the
using Claude,
industry
it will
standard.
refer to Claude or agent?
No, if cloud.md is not there, only agents.md is there, it will try to guess and read agents.md. That's the industry standard now. And you can
Interesting
have
what.
a wiki LLM as well nowadays. Wiki LLM means that you can start off with something as simple as readme.md and start referring to agents.md, cloud.md, security.md, everything. So it will
Right.
self-navigate to write document automatically.
Okay. Docker. Could you see any skill.md having instructions for the Docker?
Skills.md.
Yeah, for the Docker instructions, like how to use Docker, what are the constraints, and what other context I want to provide for the Docker.
Yep, you're right. I need to show you precisely that skill file. It's unfortunately not handy, but I'll show you through this. Sorry. Oops. This is another Tailscale is another powerful technology. So I'm inside my LLM's Launchpad, Edge. So durable RC session, for example. So it's nothing but just a skill.md file there again. So durable RC, create a manage an independent durable cloud code remote session for a project folder under projects on dev01. Use when user wants a separate conversation per project. For example, make a separate independent session for screener project, or start stop list these per project sessions. So these all it needs is this metadata: name, description. These are two critical elements in a skill file, covered by these three uh, hyphens. So this is the metadata of that skill file, and then rest of it is just plain um, prompt, basically system prompt, or whatever you want to call it. So how to do it? He use this command and it logs create this session, list sessions and all. And see, it's a point the user to a new session in Cloud AI code. The worker continues from kickoff.md. Seed the project folder with these files, kickoff.md. The hand of the worker session reads. So it's no programming magic or anything. It's just plain English. End of the day. That is what a skill file looks like. No magic. And I did not write that skill file myself. I just says, can you convert this? Whatever I'm doing is start off plain interactive, and just remember that can you convert what I interacted with in last few messages to create this new project as a remote session as a skill. It will go and create that folder and file for you. And next project when you create, it will read all the skills. All the skill folders is automatically loaded first time when you start that session.
So is it the only skill file you're having, Surya, or there are multiple?
No, there are multiple. Bookforge. I've written 5 books published on Amazon. So how to write a book is what I've taught into the Bookforge. These are the 5 books I published on Amazon as a very quick 1 week experiment. One book. I've got to the point now, if you give me vague idea, within 1 hour I'll write a book, entire book, end to end, 150 page with the cover and everything. I did my own webinar series as well, one webinar session. During live session in 1 hour, I wrote 2 books during that demo. And I've leveraged on my text to speech engine. So for example, I wrote this fiction book. I've used a pen name, Frances Marsh as pen name. Depending on the title of the book and subject of the book, I use appropriate pen name so that audience may like to read that book or something. So for this book, all I said that go and find real migration stories for Australia, real news from last 50, 60 years from the internet. Pick 10 to 12 best migration stories and convert those real stories into a fiction story. And it did write that book for me. So I've created my own Kindle reader like this. And it shows me all my, so 10 pounds. So this story from England. So I put a map of England. So that's the instruction I gave, that when I'm writing a story from whichever country they're coming from, China. So it put a China map into this and all. And it has converted real incident and news into a fiction story, and I've converted that into an audiobook. And I've created my own Spotify, because when I published this book on Spotify, I had to buy my own book to listen to it. So instead of paying and buying my own book, I created my own Spotify on my own subdomain there. And just listen for 1 minute what this book is about, and you'll get an idea. I just gave a very high level idea. This is my plot. This is how I need you to write the book for me. And within half an hour, it made a draft for me. I made some fine-tune adjustment. I then spent 20 minutes or so on the cover and title and everything else, and gave me 5 suggestions to choose from and all. And it had written a very beautiful book for me. Just listen for 1 minute if you all okay with this.
A note on these stories. Everyone who comes to Australia is warned about something. They are warned about the sun and the snakes and the cost of a house. They are warned about the paperwork and the distance and the strange flat vowels of the place. The warnings come from relatives who went before, from agents and officials and well-meaning strangers. And the warnings are mostly true and mostly useless, because the thing that finally undoes you or remakes you is almost never the thing you were warned about. It is the smaller, stranger thing that no pamphlet mentions. A country with no church bells. A boss who wants to be called by his first name. The weight a 13-year-old carries when she becomes the only voice her family has. Christmas dinner in 40 degrees of heat with the flies. The particular loneliness of a house where no one drops by unannounced. This book is a collection of those smaller things. Every story in it is fiction, but none of it is invented out of nothing. Each story grew from the real, documented experiences of people who made their way to this country over the last 70 years, from Italy and Vietnam, from Greece and South Sudan, from the Netherlands and the Philippines and Afghanistan and beyond. I read and listened and read more, and then I did something a journalist is not allowed to do and a novelist is. I blended. Each character here is a composite, 3 or 4 real lives folded into one invented person, with the names changed and the details moved so that no story tells the tale of any single real human being.
That's a glimpse of what is possible with AI, with everything. This book and everything is running on my home PC. And so I'm so overwhelmed myself. So anybody on the audience, if you're interested to read these books for free, you can type in your email in the chat. I'll add it, give you access, free access from here. I just have to put your email address there so that you can start reading this book. You'll receive an email, invite email from Pressroom. Those emails I put here will be only people will be able to sign up on this thing and listen to read to this. So I had to give human plot ourselves, like for example, how to make your day productive, or this is about writing fiction story, migration to Australia. This is a situation handbook. This is very interesting. You get into lots of troubles or situations at times. How to come out of that situation? I've written all the situation. I did not. I just said I want to write a book about it, and it discovered all the situations for me and come out of the how to come out of the situation. Being the only person in a room from your background. Everyone here shares something you do not, where they grow up, what they earn, what school they went to, how old they are, how long they've been there. Nobody's being unkind. You are still aware of it's constantly, nobody else is. So how to come out of that odd situation? It gives lots of suggestions there. Or you come to decline to be everyone's free tech support. Ankit bhai, you should be getting a lot of Leo satellite requests these days, isn't it?
Really. I have one question. How do you do the proofreading about these books? Do you rely on AI or there is a manual step involved?
And that is where I'll bring you this good anecdote. If I go to Bookforge, so it has got a template as well. Let's see what's in template. So it has got some scripts to convert a book into audiobook and how to build, document some metadata and all. But let's read into main skill file. So Bookforge is a skill I've used. So if I need to write my next book, all I have to say use Bookforge skill to create a new project, and it will have all these things which it took me 2 hours first time to set up the whole thing, but now next project will take just 2 minutes to set up, and I can just write my plot, what I want to write, and literally if my clarity of thought is there that what I actually want to write a book about, I can get a book ready in 10, 15 minutes, 20 minutes. And I can put all those checks and balances here. Ankit bhai, you just asked what a book content should look like. It's purely talks about the platform it need and on autonomous production. This is the thing. Autonomous production loop. This is the thing I have put in together here, not by hand, of course. I just gave instruction to write something about it. From a title outline, drive all 4 products: Kindle, paperback, hardcover, Spotify audiobook to author grade, with honor touching only genuinely personal decisions. Run a sequential phase loop within a phase until its gate is green before advancing. Surface a blocked gate. So it will read the book itself, find out what are the areas of concern I need to pay attention to the detail, and rest it will scan it for me by going into multiple loops itself. So it will write its own alternative prompt to pass through every loop. That now I want to become a lawyer and I want to scan it from legal aspect. Am I not? Now I'm a personally identifiable. I'm a PI expert and I want to scan it from PI data point of view and all. So then naturalize. I've written that my book should not be identified as a AI written book. So it will naturalize my book.
Yeah.
It will make a beautiful cover. It will make all those things. Human checkpoints, only these: title, subtitle, pen name, feedback email, the cover pic, the gateway, key mint.
Can it also adapt some style of writers? You know, some specific way of introducing the.
Yeah, you can write in the instruction, the first instruction itself. See, it is a keep improving the system. That's a clear
Okay.
instruction. Whenever a new gocha costs time, add it to template agents.md and backport to the current books agents.md. This skill is only as good as that file. So let's go into
Mhm.
agents. So vi template. I hope you guys good to continue for another 10-15 minutes. It's okay for me, it's late, but I hope everybody is okay. So writing is self-publishing books on Amazon. I just chose that Amazon as one of the platform because that was convenient for me. Yep. So that's my email address and operate. So it has already identified me few bits here. Honor preferences. See, for one of the book I wrote the don't put non-vegetarian requirement for Vedic day book that in breakfast take this meat or something. I said don't put any non-vegetarian thing, only vegetarian. But it remembered and I said okay, let it go. All my books should not have any meat, egg or fish references or images into my book. So it remembered that don't over connect to India for certain books so that people see it's very neutral and things. So these are my instructions, Ankit, by that you can write all those overarching, ship fast,
Yep, got it.
then iterate. So build something fairly quickly so I can see end to end big picture first. Then I say, oh, remove these 3 chapters, make this chapter more detailed, break it down, and that I can do because it's doesn't cost me any brain cells, right? I can ask it to write me 200-page book. I can just look glimpse through it very quickly. AI disclosure is honest, so I'll disclose. It's AI. Pen name matters. Owner is deliberate about how a name surname is perceived. For this Usha Anand, I use Usha Anand feminine, neutral perceived surname. That's a big problem in India, right? Certain books, if written by certain surname, and all people will not even think and take them serious and all. Get its own dedicated mat cover finish, pipeline overview. So all this instruction I did not had to write by hand. I'm reading it for the very first time while this demo is going on because I know what it will write. I just gave a clear instruction that do this and do that for me, and it is maintaining this very beautifully. So far so good for me. And this is the rules and voice you were talking about, Ankit bhai.
Yep.
Naturalized prose, target density and all, and you can write a lot more things there. Plenty of things to talk about. I made a small application for gardening. I'm sure many people will be interested in this. Every single crop, browse all plants. So how many plants it has got? Maybe not much. Oh, this month, browse all. So it has got a filter. What I can plant this month only. So I've got 43 crops I can plant this month of the year. But if I go and browse all, it has gone to 4 pages. Yeah. So capsicum, tomato, chili, eggplant, which months it can be grown in, what are the cost of growing this crop, what the maintenance this need, moderate to easy. And if I go into spinach, for example, just randomly, what are the harvest time, where to buy the seeds, what are the common diseases, and what are the home remedy, how to prevent them. Everything is documented there, and I did not have to read a single line of code. All I just go on internet, find all the details, get these creative common images from the internet with no license complications, and downloaded those all those as creative common images. So I've got this reference here, right? Photo from Wikipedia. As long as I've got the Wikipedia link, I'm covered there for legal liabilities and all. If I take you to Ticker Lab, it also documented as I'm adding new features to my application. I gave instruction or skill. Keep adding those notes about new features. What's new, automatically for me. So it kept all the records for me. What new features? So it was 4 pages of features. It has added there. I've got a multilingual as well. So if I go into Hindi, for example, the whole website becomes in Hindi, and including my text to speech engine works as Hindi.
शुभ संध्या। आज शनिवार 22 अगस्त 2026 टिकर लाभ के दैनिक बाजार संक्षेप में आपका स्वागत है। आज के लिए कौटिल्य की एक अमर उक्ति उद्योगे नास्ति दारिद्र्यम, यानी जो परिश्रम में लगा रहता है उसे निर्धनता नहीं छूती।
I'll stop at that. जो परिश्रम करता रहता है उसको दरिद्रता नहीं मिलती है. That is a message of the day.
Nice.
So yeah, a lot of thing. I am so passionate and excited to talk a lot more. As one of my friend inspired me to write some application for astrology, and somebody's publishing that website I've shown where I've got this books published. Has got this publishing project. If I want to improve anything, I can improve there. And then AI training program I've started. Anybody is interested to learn AI from me as a professionally, happy to train you. And this Proxmox USB creation is here. This is how I built. So it maintains. I said go and find best features to add to such a program or project. It found that list and made that requirement for me, and I just kept on asking, can I go with this, can I go with that? I said yeah, go. And I connected my physical device and keep on rebooting, reinstalling the entire thing, rewiping the whole thing, and it was so mesmerizing experience. And one beautiful thing I'm doing on that, I've installed MDNS or something, some service which allows I don't even have to remember the IP address those virtual machines will get. So pve01.local, that domain name is broadcasted. So I don't even have to remember the IP address. So I can plug in this machine on any network, my friend's home or something. This is the other second box I've got at home. And I don't have to remember the whole IP addresses. I can just use the PV01 local or dev01 local, prod01 or LLM01.local. I can connect to, so the IP addresses these machines are getting broadcasted using MDNS service or something, or I might be misrepresenting that service name on Linux. So it broadcasts its IP automatically. So I don't need to remember these IP addresses. So I can keep all these machine on what is that thing called? Dynamic? No, what's the dynamic IP? What's the term we use?
DHCP?
DHCP, yes, DHCP. So they're all on DHCP. I don't need to put a static IP or something. I don't need to go into my Wi-Fi router to find the IP address. I can just use these host names, pv01.local to go to this control panel, dev01.local to go on my dev01 machine, prod01. So I can SSH into this machine and I'll come out of that SSH dev. So this is Ubuntu user there, dev01.local, and jumped into that already. If I go into prod01, I'm into prod01. If I need to go into Proxmox,
How is your local Wi-Fi hopping to your this Proxmos?
This is still my home network, right?
Okay.
So I can
Oh,
SSH into them. That's only accessible for me, not for anybody else.
okay. Okay, that's not on the public.
No, so I can, so this, because I've got two machines there, so it has got conflict. So SSH keygen -r pve01.local, because I've reformatted, rebuilt this machine 100 times. So this my host machine I've logged in. All my public keys already baked into those machines, so I don't need to even type the password. I don't need to remember the password, even though it's a passwordless entry into that machine and all. So all those security features baked in, it creates this template. The template is baked into my USB as well, so that when it creates this, that's why I'm able to launch the entire cluster in 3 to 6 minutes basically. So all the VM keys, security, MDNS service, and everything is baked in. For Australian users, I've created this draft will as well. And the kind of search engine optimization it does is amazing. It has done a tons of work behind the scene. If I put it on public internet, which it is already, but if I buy a domain draftwill.com.au or something, it will go very popular in no time. It has got all those pass key driven login, email me link kind of thing. No data is stored. It has taken care of all this marketing data is fetched. 55% Australian adults have no valid will. Super does not follow your will unless you benefit nomination, binding that benefit nomination, and also very
Does it
exceptional.
also has to go through some legal or just a doc will work?
Prepare your draft will,
Okay,
walk into
draft.
your lawyer's office
Yeah.
ready,
Yep. Got
because
it.
lawyers will charge by minute, not by
Yeah.
hour.
Yeah. That's
You
right.
ask those rudimentary question there, you are wasting your time and energy there.
True.
This will, you don't even have to put actual names. I made it very anonymous friendly, so you can just use label, not real names.
Mm-hmm.
I've got this encryption at rest, data sovereign in Australian server because it sits in my home, and append only log. So any modification you're making, you can see, you can lots of thing how it works, and it's already there. Legal and frequently asked questions, everything made by Claude for me. But I still had to give an input what I really want,
Yep.
and it's beautiful. Like so many things I've done. Let me see what else. Yeah, Billcraft. This one I've shown to people. You can find your best electricity and gas offering in the area in Australia. It's not an idea in India, but in Australia, you can have a separate retailer for the same energy provider, and you can go and find which is the cheapest energy provider in an area. And some region remote areas are more expensive, so this orange color code is expensive. The cheaper inner suburbs are cheaper,
Mm-hmm.
$1,000, and this if you go into some remote area, it's $1,157 a year. So remote area is more expensive. CBD is very cheap with dark green and all, so $960 or something. Yeah, outer suburbs are a bit expensive, and very out suburb
You mind running
remote
for
areas
me?
and all. Same thing for the gas. So this data is getting from very authoritative data sources in Australia, and getting refreshed automatically for me. You can put your postcode and find best provider in that area. You can read the terms and condition of that offer, how much cashback you get and all. 2762. Oh man. Next time if I say launch one Leo satellite for me, don't make an excuse. I've run this free energy compare for you.
That's free for you.
NG is cheapest in your area, and you can look for what peak, off peak, and you get your first bill of $200 off cashback or something. Or NG movers guarantee $500. If you find cheaper, you'll get that money back or something. Anyways, so any closing questions? I'll add all those people who have put your email to my book project. Any closing questions? I hope you enjoyed this.
Yep. Thank
But
you for conducting it.
the key thing is that definitely make sure you do lots of experiments, the skill development, and the skill, not human skill I'm talking about AI skill development takes time to build. So unless you make mistake, you can't train and build those skills. So definitely spend a lot of time. And for small bits and pieces, ideas and issues, you can always reach out to me on through Sumit Bhai, or you might have seen my email address here and there, or on LinkedIn. You can connect to me on LinkedIn by searching SP Sony. You remember my face now, so you should be able to look into whatever the multiple Surya Sony around. So my spelling is SURY. I don't put A in my official name, so Surya Sony. But many people like Ankit also call me Suri, so that's not right pronunciation. It's a Surya Prakash Sony. So yeah, I'll put my LinkedIn link on chat as well if you want to connect. Any closing comments, questions? That is all. Floor is all yours, Sumit Bhai, again.
I think it is an amazing session, Surya. I really got fascinated the way you shown the technical details, the domain details you have covered in such a small span of time. It really shows the kind of a depth of experience and the experiments you have done. So I'm still in that amazed state. I don't think we have got much question here, and I especially don't want to take much of your time because I know it's quite late in Australia now. Otherwise, I myself have so many questions, but I would
No,
hug
no,
you so.
I'm happy to take few questions because that makes me feel better that somebody listened to me carefully and asked questions. Otherwise, I'll feel like I've just spoken and given a lecture where everybody was sleeping. So
Sure.
if you have
So
any
I would
question, please ask it.
pass on this opportunity to the floor. I know we have got a great techies in the room. We have got a Malla, we have got Ankit. We have so many techies. If they want to ask any question, first opportunity is yours.
I'll take an opportunity to show I do run Vichar webinar, and I'll show a quick glimpse into how I make craft my uh, social media posts. And so I'll also show potentially if it has got access to my skill of webinar posting or not. Because has joined very late, but yeah, that's fine. Yep, not sure if it has got a skill. Show me system prompt for this chat. Or maybe instruction is here. Sorry, my bad. Is it? Yep, it's there. But yep, I can't. Yeah, that's okay. Future template. Yep, this is my system prompt for my social media for webinar things. So content generator project instruction. You are an expert LinkedIn content writer for weekly, which are webinar initiative based in Victoria, Australia. Your task is to generate webinar promotion posts, pre-event, post-event, speaker, repost drafts, flyer ready short bullet points, webinar title and subtitle options, and professional hashtags about which are. So that's the background I put. So that's part of the prompt itself. And it stands for this, and initiatives focus on knowledge sharing, community, this and that. Tone of the content should feel inspirational, professional, community oriented, hopeful, intelligent, but accessible, warm, inclusive. Avoid overly corporate language, aggressive marketing, clickbait, excessive self promotion, register now, pressure tactics. So these are part of do's and don'ts. Our free community initiatives. That's the file naming conventions I've got. And never include topic name in convert file titles. Speaker formatting rules. Speaker name should always title case. Include professional honorifics. Example like this. Speaker credential pipe separated. That's a pattern I prefer and love, and that's what I've given as part of my prompt. Keep credentials to 2-3 items maximum, because that's much landscape I have on my flyer. I'll show you some of the flyer as well. And returning speaker and all, and date and time format, and based in Australia, but I also want US and India time included into time zone safe. Disclaimer rules: if it's a financial medical webinar, it will automatically put general information, not financial, legal, medical advice. Disclaimers there. And writing style: use human storytelling, lead with audience internal anxiety, respiration, not the speaker credentials. Then some punch and avoid things, and very comprehensive, and everything, all the format. And I like bullet points, learning opportunities, short bullet points with the emojis, and I want to use this naming convention, everything. And flyer should have those emojis. That's a thing. And good example is this: avoid too generic like this. So all the comprehensive, it has grown, it has refined over the time. It did not happen overnight, but I keep my prompt up to date. And writing preference is this and that, and all those things. So now I'll give you example I've created just before coming to this webinar. I created my next Wednesday webinar post. So all I said is my next speaker is Chandramouli Suresh, minimalist YouTuber, founder of Zenry framework. His introduction in his own words, depending, sometimes people give third person introduction, sometimes they give first person. I had to rephrase it this way. I've been practicing this and that. And then proposed title is this. That's it. That's all I said. And the pack I got is this. This is the outcome. So I've got 3 alternative title suggestions made here. I picked the first one because I liked it. Then the short title for my speaker, minimalist, this and that. Alternative short is life unlock, this and that. I chose the first one again because it was best. This is what I paste on my flyer. I need shorter sentences. I don't like long sentence on my flyer because otherwise it is lost. And this is my actual post, and with some placeholder and all, with longer sentence. What you will discover as a longer sentence compared to the flyer. And Chandramouli's YouTube channel link as well, my summary, and with the hashtag. And I've made a draft for my speaker as well to repost it for me on their LinkedIn, then it becomes very professional. And my introduction to a speaker and a webinar and everything baked in. That's my readiness. It got pasting this took me 2 minutes, 3 minutes. I reviewed this and I sent it to my speaker, and he was happy, he was amazed, and my job is done in 15 minutes. This is my flyer. I put those bullet points, things to learn here for the flyer. This is the introduction, titles and the name. This title and subtitle came here. That's it. Did not take me more than a minute to come to this as well, and I posted it to all my social media coming to this before to this webinar. And as a repost, when the webinar finishes, I get a summary from Zoom. So write a recap post for the webinar. I did not share this thing, and using Zoom meeting AI summary notes, and I just pasted verbatim as it is whatever a summary I got from Zoom, and close that quotes there, and that's it, end of it. And what I got is this, and it referred to actual bits discussed in the webinar. He spoke about Harley Davidson, why it failed in India while McDonald's thrived. Every element has been rephrased, rewritten in a very precise things discussed during the webinar in just 1 minute. I did not have to spend more than 1 minute pasting and getting copy pasted that thing. It's my recap post ready to post on LinkedIn, on my Facebook, and WhatsApp groups, various WhatsApp groups. So I'm very proud and happy, and I can manage all this just by myself because of this system prompt. So huge potential and opportunity to leverage prompt engineering, leverage in every elements of your life. And I'm very thankful to all the audience who stayed back this long to listen to all my boring stuff.
I think it's a
That
pretty interesting, Surya. I love the way the kind of a professionalism you are bringing to webinar. There's a lot to learn actually. I hope I could also build a system like you, and thanks for inspiring.
no, definitely happy to exchange my notes with you. Yeah.
Before we go, Surya, I have got a two technical question for you.
Yeah.
So you have explained how your agent.mds you have actually framed and how agents are working. So I want to know how many agents are working for you. Like it's single agent or it's a multiple agents?
So agent term has been overused and misused in practical worlds. True agentic framework, or like lots of things happen behind the scene rather than in the front end. The term has been misused, agents.md here. It's a simple term for a new agent. When it launches a chat conversation on that project, it will just read it first time, that's it. True agentic framework is where the AI will take action on your behalf, go outside the world, call external APIs, make the changes in the world. For example, if I'm asking my AI dev01 chat conversation for a project to go and deploy in prod01, that's a agentic call. And I can say that while you're deploying, can you go to 10 different competitor website and do the comparison? How good is my SEO, and is my content and feature is comparable to other thing? Then I will run some 5 sub-agents, for example, and that is true agentic framework. Has got nothing to do with the agents.md again.
Yeah.
I hope did I answer your question?
So
Yeah.
another question is related to agents.md and also in skills.md. I could see that the technical information, the domain related information, like how book structure should look like, what should be tonality, and at the same time, they were actually technical instructions were actually part of the same file. So it has to be in the same file, or we can actually segregate it into different.
So the clear action has to be in the same file, but the actual templates and actual code and script can remain outside in the template folder, for example. So that's the beauty of the skills. You can go and read about skill file structure and format and all from Claude website. They define it so well, and that it's like LLM wiki concept that you can point to external files, relative files, and have break down into smaller modules to manage it rather than one large file. So that is where I broke down my security.md as a separate file, for example. So if, as long as it's readable in 5 to 10 paragraphs, you can keep into one file. If it's more than 10 paragraphs, you move components into separate files and refer to other external files as a relative path.
Great, Surya. I think yeah, that answers my question.
Yep.
So, Surya, as you
Any
mentioned about like the agentic workflow, I just want to actually uh, publish on the flow that okay, our next webinar will be on the agentic workflow only. It will be taken by one of my again another friend, which is Abhishek Kumbat. So look forward to see you all in the next webinar, which is on the coming Saturday. And with this, I don't want to take Surya's much more time because I know it's quite late in Australia. But thank you so very much, Surya. It was very, very interactive and very, very fascinating, very, very enlightening webinar. I'm so glad that I could attend it and I could host it. Thank you so
you
much.
you are the host. You'll have to attend every single webinar. You can't skip it. Thank you so much, Sumit. Bye again, and thanks to all the audience as well for listening to me so late on your Saturday evening. And I hope you learned something. And if you have any question, reach out to me again. Happy to help support. If somebody needs some professional training in AI from zero to champion, happy to help you professionally as well. With that note, thank you everyone. Good night. See you next time.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks, Surya.
Thank you.